Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. It is me, Pastor Tanya, and you are with me at Worship and Wellness. It is Monday night. This is what we do. I am so excited tonight to have you. I'm just excited because it's Monday. Look, why can't we just say that? Just because I'm excited, just because. How are you? How was your day? Tell me who is with us so I can give you a shout out. I look forward to tonight's conversation. I have a very gifted and talented young lady in the building. Well, the virtual building, that is, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're going to be, we have been, last week we talked about, we're doing our virtual vision board. Every Monday we're doing virtual vision board. And today, the focus of a goal that many people will put on their vision board is finances. Sometimes it's either because someone wants to learn how to save more. Maybe their goal is to understand what it is to invest. Maybe you may want to know what it is to buy or sell. Maybe how do I get my credit up? I mean, we're going to cover some topics. So I want you, if you are watching, I want you to make sure that you share. Why? Because here at Worship and Wellness, we believe sharing is caring. So I want you to make sure that you share, tag somebody. Listen, I know you got some good girlfriends, some good homeboys that y'all have some conversations about. We got to do better with our money this year. Well, tag them, say, at so-and-so, join me tonight. I want everybody. I wish that all people will desire to do better with how we do our finances. Hey, Tanya. So glad that you joined. Hey, Mary is on. She said, good evening, Pastor Tanya and Ashlyn. Yes, Ashlyn is going to be with us tonight. She is quite qualified for what we're going to be talking about this evening, and I'm excited to have her. I've had her on with us before, but if you are watching, you want to talk, we are going to be talking about finances. This is a good space to even tag and type in questions or anything you may want to know more about. This is the time to do it. Please, because we are here for you. So often we put our energies and time into the things that we want to do, and sometimes they're not things that's going to enhance our life. Things such as these topics are to enhance our life. God desires that we are well in every area of our life, and part of wellness part of us worshiping well is managing our finances. So we're here. I mean, there's even scriptures about money. Hebrew 13:5 says, keep your life free from the love of money and be content with what you have. For he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That doesn't mean you cannot want or desire things. That we know that money is necessary to access, but sometimes our goal is to have more and to have the most and to have the max. And unfortunately, we are doing things that are putting us in a bad position. Some of us are getting homes and cars, putting our finances in an uproar that we shouldn't have. Hey, Dr. Coates is on. Thank you for joining us this evening. Some of us are trying to, make sure that we are meeting up with the Jones. We're the Joneses and we want everybody to look at us. But we have to change our mindset about money. So that's what I love about Ashlyn. In fact, I'm going to bring her on. Again, if you're just joining us, make sure that you share because sharing is caring. But I'm going to bring our guest on, Miss Ashlyn.
Hey,
heart. Welcome to Worship and Wellness this evening.
I am excited to be here. Thank you, Pastor Tanya, for allowing me to be here, to share this platform, to share this community with you. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everybody, too.
Oh, yes, that's
we
good.
Only knew 9 days in, right? 9 days.
That's so good. That's so good.
9 days in. So happy New Year to everybody.
So Ashlyn, I'm glad that you joined us. Tonight we're talking for the month of January, the focus is virtual vision board. And as well as I know, in the beginning of the year, we all have these goals and ideas of what we want to do. I want to buy a house. I want to do better with my eating. I want to do better in my relationships, and finance happens to be one of those things that people put on their vision board. And unfortunately, we don't have goals around finance. We're not taught. Many of us are not taught about finance until we're in a financial bind, and so I think it's important that not only the body of Christ, but us as people as a whole have a good understanding and have a mindset about money. And so I'm excited to have you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes. Hey, so thank you for allowing me to be here. I am super excited to share this information with you guys, to share my expertise. So thank you. I want to make sure that you guys know that you are going to win this year. Like, I don't know if you said it to yourself that I'm going to win. I don't know if you shared it with anyone that you're going to win. Like, I don't know if you wrote it down in your journal this year, but you are going to win in every aspect of your life. And Apostle was just talking about what? Divine alignment. That we are aligned in every aspect of our lives: mind, body, soul, spirit, relationships, friendships, money, in every part of our lives. So just rewind about that. My name is Ashlyn Price. I am a licensed social worker and a certified counselor, also a financial literacy consultant. So all I do is I merge the two. I bridge the gap between the disparity of how you see yourself with money, your past perspectives, your past traumas, your past beliefs about how you see yourself with money, and we bridge the gap between how you feel, the financial literacy part. Do you see value in your money? So I just bridge the two, your past perspectives, traumas, and beliefs about how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself. Do you see value in you? Do you see worth in you? Do you see that you are deserving of amazing and great things? And I merged the two together of literally the financial literacy aspect of seeing worth in my money.
That is so good. Understanding and seeing the worth in the money. Actually, what led you to this path, right? Like, tell us just a little bit about why this area is so important to you and what led you here.
Yeah, so I have my own personal journey with finances. Like, it's been a struggle in my life with money for a while, and I just never openly told or shared with anyone. Like, for example, I bought a car a few years ago, and I was paying 24.9% interest rate.
Yeah, been there.
So if you know what that looks like, I'm paying like $650 for a car note.
for 2 cars that you only get to drive one of. Mm-hmm.
But I had to pay for the car to get to work, to make the money, to pay for the car.
That's so
So
good.
I felt like I was like in a bind in this push and pull relationship with money and with finances. Like, this is not the American dream. Like this can't be the white picket fence in the house. So most recently I got smacked in the face with my own healing journey. When I had to go through it and deal with it, when I had to discuss, share, talk about, plan a homegoing service for my brother. And we were at the table and we had to talk about what does that look like? What did the finances look like? And when we were having that conversation, it came to my realization that we didn't have a lot of the money. We had a limited income on what we were going to do and how we were going to process this thing to have a funeral service. And I left that place distraught, angry, frustrated, torn about what I was going to do with my finances. And I felt really embarrassed. And I told myself, I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I went through. When you feel like you literally can't afford, like I feel like I couldn't afford to grieve the loss of my loved one because the strain that it had on me personally. Yeah. So I said, never again. I will be the black sheep. I will step out on faith. I will be the one to talk to my friends and my family. I will talk to my community. I will do whatever I have to do to ensure that everyone that's connected to me will have the information. Now, what they do with it, it's totally up to them, but they have the information. So just going through my own healing process with my own personal story with my family members, what really made me become really serious about teaching the masses and merging the two, how my past relates to my money and how I feel now.
That's so good. Like I said earlier, a lot of times we're not educated about finances and money or recognize the relationship that we have with money until we're in a dire situation. We don't plan for loss. We don't plan for retirement. We don't plan for our tomorrow. Oftentimes, historically, we've been living out our money, right? It's in that moment. I got to go to work so I can pay the bills. And that has been the relationship. So how would you speak to someone about changing the mindset about money? Or is that the start?
Yeah, so I think the first conversation that we need to have is just talking about, how do you feel? Like when you hear the word money, like how do you feel? What comes to mind? Like just, I have money in the bank, I have money in my pocket, I have money in my wallet. Like just being open and honest with yourself and just saying, hey, this is where I am and I'm not successful. I am not good. This is a challenge for me. I wasn't taught this information. Just being open and honest with yourself and just saying, I need help. Just being vulnerable in that space and just saying, yeah, I need some assistance. And that's first and foremost. Just admitting that you need help. The second thing I would consider is let's talk about the relationship. Let's talk about like some of the patterns that you've seen with money. Like, what did you see your parents do with money? What did you see your grandparents do with money? What about your siblings, your aunts and uncles? Like what did you see? Just tell me, what did you see about money?
That's so good.
Because we pick those things
good. That's really good because even now you mentioned we are in our ministry and starting to tag in and identify different behavior patterns in our life and the cycles that happen behind it and how that plays into us is so key. We have to connect the people that we're connected to, the people of our past and our past behaviors, because you can't change something that you're not aware of. You can't change anything that you're not knowledgeable of. And being okay to say, this is a bad area, but this ain't my area. I'm not strong here. Like you, Ashlyn, people will look at me and they're like, oh, you're a realtor, you're good with finances. People don't know. I had to listen, got the t-shirt, hat, sweatshirt, and we're not just talking about just 20 years ago. I'm talking about even of the recent, that had not recent, but the recent past, where I was
Mhm.
in that situation. My
Yeah.
credit was low. What led me to make sure that my credit was going to be where it needed to be was when I decided to get married. Because the one thing I didn't want to happen was that my husband be in a situation that, because of my past behaviors, it would affect him, because he is a financial person. He is very savvy with money. And so it's very, there's always that, one is strong and one is not. Yeah, so that's not my area. But I did not want my behavior, my actions to reflect on him.
Listen, Tanya, let me tell you what you just said. You know what you just said? You know what I just heard? You made the conscious decision
Absolutely.
to invest in you so you wouldn't become a liability to your spouse.
Absolutely.
We become liabilities to our spouses and to our partners when we don't initiate, when we don't invest, when we don't get educated, when we are so stuck in our ways and we don't make the investment, we don't get educated. You become a liability to me, bro. Like,
That's
you become a
good.
liability to me, sir. Like, literally, you become a liability to your partner. You're like, well, what is going on? And it's because, guess what? Most of the time, we don't even have these conversations. We don't even talk about it. So
Sure.
my history with money looks totally different than what your past was with money.
Sure.
Let's bring them together and let's talk about it.
Why do you think it's so why do you think that this is one area that people are so quick to run away from?
Because you have to become vulnerable and you have to come face to face with you.
Yeah.
And there has to be some type of accountability. And that sucks. Like, that doesn't feel well.
Right.
Who wants to volunteer and say, yeah, I made that mistake?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. And 9 times out of 10, we're just surviving.
Yeah.
We're just surviving.
Barely.
Right. We just try and make that thing work. Literally. Literally.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
It's embarrassing and it causes PTSD and it makes me
Yeah.
have anxiety and I go into a depression because I literally have to look at my credit score or I have to look at my bank account or I have to pull my credit report. And you're like, what is this? Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just a vulnerable space that we're just not comfortable with.
Yeah, and like you said, vulnerable and lack of education, right? Because I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to people and I'm like, well, have you ever pulled your credit? And they're like, I've never pulled my credit, or I don't know how, or I think the more damaging thing is I use Credit Karma. That's not real. Don't use Credit Karma. Right? I mean, I think it's a start, but they don't really give you an accurate depiction of what you're working with. What are some of your habits, right? So yeah, that's very key. What do you think is really important for people to know? Or what is if you can just kind of share just about what you do and why that's relative?
Yeah. So what I do as a financial consultant, I literally all we do. So the flagship product of my resources and services is credit restoration. Restoring your credit and its financial literacy, meaning I am educating you on credit, on spending, on budgeting, on savings, on how to build your credit. Like, I want you to be so good that you put me into shame. Like, you put me out. Like, I don't even have a job no more. Like, you can do exactly what I've been doing and you can do it even better. So literally what I do is I help people reach their financial goals. I help people with credit restoration to restore your credit. I help people become literate with their finances, to learn about how to build your credit, to learn about how to create a budget, how to do savings. I help people create extra streams of income so they can become financially free, whatever that looks like. Not saying that everyone wants to be a millionaire or, that's not everyone's dream. All I literally do is we have conversations. I have conversations about your relationship with your finances. What does that look like for you? Why do you want to reach that goal? When do you want to reach it? And what are you willing to do to get to that goal? In that process, we deal with credit restoration, savings, budgeting, making sure that you're protected, and even going through the dispute process
Mhm.
to make sure that you can reach that higher score, whatever your goal is
Mhm.
at that time.
So one of the things I always say is that it, if I think about a building, right? In order for uh, if if there was a structure that was a building, that's a structure that's already up, and you
Mhm.
take a boulder, knock it
Mhm.
down, happens like this.
Mhm.
The amount of time that is necessary to
Mhm.
rebuild that building takes time.
Mhm.
Time. And so, when you think about credit and finances and changing your behavior and your mind about money, oftentimes I think people hit a wall because we forget that it takes time. Thoughts
Yeah.
on that? Thoughts on that
Yeah.
concept?
So I'm one of the older millennials, as they call me.
There's an older and a newer millennial. I'm confused. I can't take it. Go ahead and tell me.
I'm like the older millennial, right?
I'm an older millennial. Okay.
I'm an old one. Um, Everyone lives in this popcorn world, like microwavable popcorn kind of world. Like we want things to be done ASAP, right? So the question I always pose is like, how long did it take you to get into this situation?
Mhm.
Did it take you a week? Did it take you 30 days? Did it take you 45 days to get into this situation?
Mhm.
How long did it take for you to get into the situation? It's
Mhm.
going to take extra 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 to make sure that we get out of it. So I always tell my clients it's individualized. It
Yeah.
may take me 6 months. It may take you, Pastor Tanya, 9 months because everyone's process is different. Whatever my credit goals are, whatever my financial goals are, mine look different than what yours look like. I just
Mhm.
want to get to a 700. I may be good. You want to get to an 850. So we're going to have some more work that we got to do for you. I
Sure.
want people to make sure that you have to make the conscious decision, literally the conscious decision to say that I am going to invest in myself. And I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what the process looks like, but God, I am here and I need you to walk with me.
That's good. I
Not a
think that's the key. Knowing that, no matter what our situation or circumstances is, that we don't have to do it alone.
yeah.
That God not only do you have God with you that will guide you through the process, but then God has allowed people who are skilled in an area to help walk us through this process.
Mhm.
And when you have somebody that's an accountability partner, it
Yeah.
often will help you get to the goal that you set, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say it, I didn't set it, right? We set,
Right.
as people, we set the goals that we want to have. So if you're setting it, then God is opening up the opportunity for you to have resources to use them. Resources mean nothing if you do nothing with it.
Hello.
And you can have a whole bucket of resources.
Hello.
If you don't make the call, if you don't,
Yeah.
put into action, if you don't take pen to paper,
Yeah.
resources means nothing without action.
Mhm. Think about it this way. I think about a crock pot. You know how you can put the roast in the crock pot?
I used my
And
crock pot this morning. I put some good old chicken breast in my crock pot. So I know that. Wait,
so we put some chicken breast in the crock pot, right? Let that
oh,
thing just simmer and just cook for 3-4 hours at a time.
yeah.
While you're doing whatever you're doing, cleaning the house, doing laundry, playing with the baby, whatever it is, right? And you can add your potatoes, you add your carrots, you add your celery, you add your veggies, right? And it cooks. Literally, it cooks. And you're not doing anything to it. All you're doing is setting the timer and you're doing something else. But you know that slow cooker is going to do everything you need it to do. The heat is at the right temperature. You have all the ingredients. You know that you're not going to burn anything. All I have to do is put it in there, have faith, and walk away. It's the same thing you do with any new project. Same thing you do with your finances. Let this be a crock pot. We're going to sit in this thing and let it get warm and let it just cook because you have the time.
Yeah.
And people think we going to buy houses in 6 weeks. So they want,
Back you can if your credit and the money's there, but without those two pieces, it don't happen, right? And I'm so glad that you said that, because a lot of times people do not understand what goes into it. I had a conversation. I was with a group of people over the weekend, and that was one of the topics that came up, the debate about, well, so long as I have money, that's all I need, versus credit. And now there used to be a time you had to have money. If you didn't have money, you couldn't talk. But now you can have the money, but if your credit is not where it needs to be, nobody want to hear what you got to say. That's good. But I need to know if you're credit worthy. And so when we're looking at buying homes, oh my God, I want to cry when I think about how many people that's like, I'm renting, and I cannot get out of the cycle of just living life, and my credit is bad, but I need to move.
Yeah.
Now, even in order to get a rental, rentals are asking for 3 times the rent to move in with a credit score of 620.
Wow.
If I got a credit score of 620 and higher, 630, 650, and I got to pay 3 times and rent is like 2,300, 2,000, 2,100, 23. If you need a 3-bedroom, you're anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500 times 3. That's a lot of cash. And don't have bad credit, because they'll make you do even more. So I'm just saying, it is so concerning to me that the times that we're living in is not going to get better. So it is our responsibility to clean up our yard. Because here's the other piece, and here's a question I'm going to pose to you. Many of us have children. So if we don't do something today, we're only perpetuating the cycle for our children. So as parents, Ashlyn, what would be some guidance that you would have for parents who have children that need to educate them about money?
So let's look at it this way. Think about it. When we're growing up, right? When we're 3, 4, 5 years old, and you get excited when you get $1. When the tooth fairy comes, you lose a tooth, you get $1, you get $5 or whatever, right? And most of the time, most of us had what? Our first bank account was what? A piggy bank. Our first bank account was a piggy bank. And you take those quarters and those nickels and those dimes and those pennies and those little dollars and the $5, you stick them in your piggy bank. Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to stuff my piggy bank with all this money. And then the piggy bank gets full. And you're like, all right, Mom, what I do with it now? I want to cash it out. Now, what is it? That is the first encounterance most children have with money. It's a piggy bank. It's a piggy bank. That's the first bank account that we have as children. That was my first bank account. Was a piggy bank. If we think about, as parents, if we teach our children the value of investing, literally at the age of like 5, 6, investing. Hey, Bobby, we're going to take this $5 that you got from the tooth fairy, and we're going to put it in your piggy bank. That's called investing. Literally having the conversation early, at an early age. When kids know that, hey, Mom, can you buy me this? And they got their hand out because they want a quarter or they want $1. They know the value of money then and there. Right then and there, they know the value of money. The question is, what are we going to do with that information? And it's just very basic. Let's talk about, what can we buy with $5? Are we going to spend all of the 5? Are we going to share some of the 5? Are we going to put $2.50 into the offering? Like, what are we going to do with this $5, Bobby? I think at that very moment, that's when we have to have the conversation about money. And it's just about breaking it down. How much is money worth? Having a piggy bank. What does a piggy bank mean to me? What does it mean to you, Bobby, with this piggy bank? And what do you want to do with this money? Once the piggy bank gets full, what are we going to do with it? Just the bare minimum.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would like to even add, and right behind that would be consistency. Right? Because I think what happens is, as parents, we're parenting, right? And so in parenting, sometimes that's not the priority. I don't have time to sit down and teach you it, right? One of the things I did with my children is you had to break it down in 3 ways. Part 1, is a percentage of it goes to God, a percentage of it goes to your savings, and what was left was yours. So you break it down and take that number, Bobby. Here's $5 divided by 3, and everybody gets equal portion. Period. Right. And so now you have some to save, but you have some to spend, Bobby, because we recognize as you get older, guess what? A portion you're gonna have to say. A portion goes to taxes. A portion goes to a portion goes to bills. Right, that little 3-way goes on a whole lot more, right? And so, I think consistency is a component that's necessary when you talk about when you're talking about changing a mindset. You got to be consistent, disciplined, right? I think about even in the church house, our ministry, the legalism of tithing and what the traditional concept of tithing many have learned is not there, right? And so now we're free to give, and the question becomes, how many still give? How many will place the value over the $800 sneaker for my 12-year-old that's gonna grow out of that sneaker, and I got $800 gone, right? Where to your point, where do we put that value? How much are we pouring into God? What portions are we giving, and what do we understand about that piece?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, what do we understand about that piece? Because I think we tend to we look at the things that we need to do today. I gotta pay my bills. I gotta make sure that and we do, but we forget that we have because He gives.
Yeah,
we have because He gives. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Can you share with the people about process? Right. Let's say I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. And so, because I don't know where to begin, I'm just going to take the rest of my money and spend it.
And that happens.
It does, because, sometimes when you are overwhelmed, you don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes being overwhelmed, I don't want to look at my credit score, because then now that I see it and I can't do nothing about it, so why bother look? Meanwhile, it's getting worse, right? I don't want to look at my bank account. When the last time you looked at it? I don't know. Now I have a different perspective. I look at it all the time to just make sure I'm still all right.
Right. Because when you look at it, you now feel convicted. Like, I got to hold myself accountable. When I don't know something, when I'm ignorant to the fact, I'm like, oh, I don't know nothing about that. I don't got to deal with it. I don't got to talk to it. I don't got to write it down. I don't know nothing about it. So now I don't have to hold myself accountable because I just don't know. Oh, but once I become aware, once I see it, once I know it, once I learn about it, I can't unlearn. Like, I can't not know now.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. So I will always say to people, make sure you connect with someone you know, you like, and you trust. Connect with someone that you know, that you like, and that you trust when you are talking about your finances. Connect with someone you know, you like, and you trust in reference to your finances, because you got to have open and honest and vulnerable conversations about where you are and how I got to this place.
Can you please why that's important? Why is that important?
Yeah. So think about it this way. If you're having a conversation with someone that you don't know, that you don't like, I don't trust them, I don't know what you're going to do with my finances, I don't know what you're going to do with my money, I don't know where it's going, you're not going to be so open to have the conversation. You're not going to be so trusting to put all your to have those types of conversations. You're not going to be so open to say, you know what, I'm free to go through this financial journey. It's going to be, like Tanya said, or judge-free. Yes, you're not going to have a judge-free zone. You're going to feel so restricted. You're going to feel so bound. But when you're with someone that you know, that you like, that you trust, you didn't like, know what, Ashley, I'm gonna let my barriers down, I'm gonna let my walls down. We are sisters, and I'm here to have this conversation. And you create a safe space for that person. Y'all are in partnership now. We are together in this thing now. and I am helping you and I'm motivating you and I'm encouraging you and I'm supporting you, that there will be abundance and there will be prosperity in this process that we're going through. Whenever you feel like you can be free in something and you feel like you are grounded, 10 toes down, flat footed and firm, and you know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I believe and I trust, and I'm going to just go through the process. And I believe that this person is going to help me. How much more freer do you feel? How excited are you? I want you to feel excited about this financial journey, not bound, not angry, not degraded, not belittled, not cast down. That's not what we're going to do. I need you to be liberated in the midst of you not knowing exactly how it's going to work out. So making sure you connect with someone you know, you like, and you trust, because word of mouth travels very quickly. And when you have a great experience with someone, you'll be able to have that conversation with the next person and say, you know what? She did X, Y, and Z, and she really helped me. Or he did X, Y, and Z, and he really helped me. Because you have to have those open, honest, vulnerable conversations. So make sure you do business with someone you know, you like, and you trust with your finances.
But so how do I, what is it? What if I don't know where to begin? I know my girlfriend around the corner. I don't know and trust her, but she may not necessarily know the right pieces of information. Good evening, Marie. So what is it that I should be doing now that I've made a conscious decision to do something?
Mm-hmm.
After I've identified. So now I have identified, okay, Ashlyn, now, okay, I sat in on this session that with you and Pastor Tanya. So now what do I do?
Yeah. So there's resources and services available. Most of us all have bank accounts, right? So you can go to your credit union, you can go to your bank and just have a consultation with one of the financial consultants there and start building a rapport with someone there, having a conversation about what those goals are. What does this look like? What does that look like? How does this process work? Literally just having a conversation, just a consultation, just to get the information. That's all. Go to your bank account, go to your bank or your credit union and have those types of conversations. Or go to someone that you know is good with money. Like, I don't care where someone knows someone that is good with money. You have to. But if you don't, go to your bank, go to your credit union, speak to someone there, start building that relationship with that person there, having them interview them. How long have you been doing this work? Y'all probably think I'm crazy. Interview them. How long have you been doing this work? Why is this work so important to you? What is your motivation behind this work? Tell me, what is the first step with my bank accounts? How many bank accounts should I literally have those types of conversation with people? The first thing is just getting the information of what are my goals? What do I want to achieve? Why do I want to achieve them? And what is the time frame?
So that's good. So Tanya said, what information should I gather to have the conversation? Because here's the thing, Ashlyn, I don't know what I don't know, right? And
Yeah.
so many times people don't know what questions I
You don't
should
know what to ask.
Or what I should be saying. How do I generate a question? So let's say someone came to you. More times than not, they're going to say, "Listen, my money. I don't know. I don't know how to save. I don't know. I'm just in a bad situation. What do I do?" So here at Worship and Wellness, we really believe in biblical principles, but with practical steps.
Yes.
And oftentimes, people don't get where they want to go because we give generalities, right? And so it's important that if anybody who's watching that they get some tangible steps to know, like you just gave, go to the bank. But what should I say if I go to the bank, or if I call you, Ashlyn? What is it that I can expect?
Yeah. So the first question I will ask you is, why is this important to you? What's your goal? Just in general, my goal is to do what? To buy a home. What is your goal? So first, just know what do you want to attain? Doesn't matter what it is. What do I want to attain? I want to purchase a home. I want to purchase a car. I want to clean up my credit. Like, what is the goal? What are we working on first and foremost? Right? What is the goal? Perfect. Now you know what the goal is. Why is this important to you? This is important to me because I want, to build generational wealth for my children. This is important to me because I don't want to rent anymore. I want to purchase a home, right? This is important to me because my credit score is not well, and I feel like, my finances are just pulling me back and forth left and right. So, what is your goal? What is the goal? Why are you doing this? Why is this important to you? What do you want to get out of it? What is the end result? And the other thing I ask is, where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months? Short-term goals. And then I ask them, and this goes back to the question, well, what did you see? Like, what did you learn about money? I always ask the question of what did you learn about money? Because that will tell you a lot about the person that you're working with.
Sure.
So just gathering the information of, these are my goals. I go to the bank. I want to speak to someone about my finances, about cleaning up my credit. I want to purchase a home. Okay. My goals are, I want to purchase a home. I don't know how to save. I don't know how to budget. I don't know what my credit score is. And that's real life conversations that people usually have, right? Okay. Well, what my goals are. Talk about what your goals are. What is the motivation behind it? Why is this important to you? And this is my past with my money. Just the foundation of that conversation.
Sure.
Just the core foundation. That, at least that's what I ask my people.
Mhm.
That's what I ask my clients.
Mhm.
What are your goals? Why is this important to you? What do you want to get out of it? And what is your past relationship with some of your money?
That's good. Yeah, I think that is some real good basic stuff, right?
Basic.
Start at the bare minimum, right? And then build steps from that, right? Like if your goal ultimately is to buy a home, or maybe it's just to have retirement. Like, there's so many charts nowadays that are out there that will even show you, if you put this amount of money in now, you'll have this amount by the time
Yeah.
you age, and really having an opportunity to see what's out there.
Mhm.
But it does start with knowing what your goal is. And if
Mhm.
you don't know what your goal is, being able to be honest with a person that you can have that conversation with to help talk you through it.
Yes.
God desired, like I mentioned earlier, God desires that we are well in its fullness, right? We don't operate for money, but we know that we need money to function, right?
Mhm.
In the world in which we live, right? I
Mhm.
aspire to have more money to do more.
Mm.
People choose to, have more money to say that they have more money, but
Yeah.
what are you doing with it, right? Like, so
Yeah.
what is that's why what your goal is so important. Because
Mhm.
and here's, it's so wow. You asked the question, why? What is your why?
Mhm.
Um, one of my mentors had said, when you know a person's why, you know their motivation.
Yeah.
You don't have a why, you more than likely are going to find somebody who is not as motivated because they don't even know their why.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't even know their why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a
And
question. Wait, I've got to go back. Oh, a comment. I do get my credit report.
okay.
Do I need to know all three of them? What's the relevance of knowing all three?
That's a good question. And so I do get this question a lot. 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. One thing that we need to be aware of is that they all report different things to each credit bureau.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have 3 separate scores. You can
Mm-hmm.
have 750 with TransUnion, a 740 with Equifax, a 742 with Experian, because they're all reporting different things. TransUnion may only report your home and your student loans. Experian may report your car and your cell phone, your BG&E, and then I don't know what I said, Experian, whatever the last one is.
Your home.
May,
Mhm.
your home, yeah, the last one may only report, I don't know, your JC Penney's card, your Home Depot card. They all report 3 different things, but we should be aware of all 3 numbers. Yeah, you should be aware of all 3 numbers and know that they all may not look the same because they all report different things on all 3 of them.
And one thing I do want to, and Ashlyn, you can correct me, I do want to make mention is depending on what you're doing, it's also different, right? So if you are looking at purchasing a car, is very different than what they look for when you're purchasing a home, which is different than what they look for when you're just trying to get a credit card, right? Because they're
Yeah.
3 different type of trade lines. And
Yes.
so you have to be mindful of that. And so when you talk about your 3 different creditors, one weighs more heavily than the other. And definitely on the house side of it, what they do is they look at the average of the 3. And so look at this is why it's important to know all 3 so that you can know what your average is and what you're coming to the table with, generally speaking.
Right. Yeah. Because if you go to the car dealership, they may only look at TransUnion.
Right.
They may only see your TransUnion as a 680 or a 690, and you may be good with that because they're only pulling TransUnion. But like you said, with the house process, that process is totally different compared to buying a home.
Ashlyn, so we got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes left. I want you to do a couple of things. Can you share? You recently wrote a book.
Ooh!
Oh my gosh. And it is out there. You ain't no hiding no more. It's too late. Do you have your book with you to show it?
Where my book at? I just had a copy of it.
Okay.
Lord,
well, it's okay. You can tell me the name of it, but if you can just share a little bit about the book.
Yeah.
And then I know that you have a workshop coming up. So those that are watching, I'd love for them to get that information about the upcoming workshop and why it's important and why it is an element of practical actions that we can do. So if you can just share again about your book, how it came about, what led you to write it, and where people can find it, and then also about your upcoming session.
Yeah, so your girl, let me tell y'all, I just wrote a book, y'all. This girl is an author. I am excited. This is my book. It's called Affirming My Value, 31 Days of Financial Affirmations and Elevations. In this book, it's challenging your thought processing, challenging you to reconsider yourself, challenging you to say, hey, I can do this, that I can rewrite my story, that I am not stagnant, that I am not stuck, that I have the capacity to rewrite my own story and do this all over again. This book came from a place when I was down and I was low. So I've always been a writer. I have multiple journals and I write positive affirmations and sticky notes all over the place. So this affirmation book is just affirmations, 31 days of affirmations compiled from my own personal experience, from my own personal journals, my own personal affirmations. And I wrote this so I could encourage myself. When my brother passed away and I felt like I couldn't afford to grieve, I was angry, I was frustrated, I went into a depression. I wasn't eating, I wasn't exercising, I was late on my deadlines at work, the blinds were closed, the TV was off, there was no music. I was just depressed and angry. What I did was listen to Christian meditation. I had to listen to positive things. So I listened to affirmations every day. I wrote down affirmations in my journal. I wrote down affirmations on my sticky note and I posted them in my office. And I did this day after day after day after day to speak life into myself because I was so low and I was so angry with my finances. This is what this book is. This book is speaking life into your finances, speaking liberation to your finances. It's affirming who you are, right? This is what this book is about. This book can be found on Amazon, Framing My Value, or you can just type in my name, or you can find it on my website, themoneysocialworker.com. Themoneysocialworker.com is where you can find this book. But this book is just 31 days of financial affirmations to tap into your finances, to speak life, liberty, joy, abundance, prosperity to your finances, right? And then the workshop that we have coming up, that's on Saturday. I'm excited about that. It is this Saturday, January the 14th from 10 a.m. Yes, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The first hour will be me doing a workshop about building a relationship with your finances. The second hour will be me and my mentor, she's actually coming, to discuss the tactical, the strategical resources and services that we have to help you become financially free, to help you reach your goal, to help you build more income, to help you do the credit restoration process, to put in perspective what credit looks like and why it is there. The book cost is $20. That is your investment. The investment that you are putting into yourself is $20 for this book. You can go to the website, themoneysocialworker.com, themoneysocialworker.com, and you can purchase this book. And then the workshop is this Saturday, January the 14th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Fresh Start Church. And you can register on the church website, which is fscgb.com, and register. It's free. You don't need to pay anything. There's no fees. You don't need to do tickets or anything. Just register so we can have accountability of who's coming. And I will see you guys there. I'm excited.
That is so awesome, Ashlyn. You are doing really great work, getting the message out there. Sometimes it can be a concert and we have hundreds of people at a concert, but then when we start to talk about cleaning up our act, about 17, right? But it is going to be for those that recognize that they are serious about changing their mindset about the world that they call money. And so I greatly appreciate, your opportunity. How can people find you? So I know you mentioned themoneysocialworker.com. How else? What are other ways that if they wanted your services? Tell us what your services are. Tell us what your services. What do you do?
What do I do? Yes. So what do I do? So I do credit restoration. We help people with credit restoration to restore their credit. We do savings. We do budgeting. My flagship product is credit restoration. However, we do financial literacy. We do everything for helping people with a will and a trust, having a will and trust, power of attorney, having savings, creating a budget, going through the credit restoration process, making sure that you protect your finances with identity theft and protection, budgeting, making sure that you know how to budget. But the flagship product that we do is credit restoration. And I am looking to, to help people in all aspects and how I can help you reach your goals to become financially free, or just purchase that home, that condo, or just clean up your finances.
Ashlyn, if someone decided they wanted your services, what would that process look like? How would they hire you? What would that process? What would they need to do?
So we would schedule a consultation. There's no fee for the consultation. As long as you attend the appointment, there's no fee for the consultation. Just be serious about your time and my time. We'll schedule a consultation. We'll have a conversation about where they are, what their goals are, why is this important, what do you want to get out of the process, how committed are you to the process, and we'll just go back and forth and have a consultation with them to see if I am the right fit for you. I may not be the right fit for you. I want people to know that I'm not doing the work for you. This is a place where you have to do the work for yourself. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to make a conscious decision to do the work for you. I can guide you, I can help you, I can mold you, but I cannot do the work for you.
Mm.
Yep. So you can go on the website, themoneysocialworker.com, and schedule a consultation.
That's good.
I am on Instagram.
Okay.
At Money Social Worker.
Okay. Anything
the _ money _ social worker on Instagram. Facebook is just my name, Ashlyn Price. I have a link tree on my Instagram. I have free ebook, a free credit ebook, a free credit magazine. You'll see my website link. All of that stuff is there on my Instagram page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ashlyn, I so appreciate you. I am super excited about everything that's happening and all that you're doing, getting the word out so that we can do different and be different. Listen, if you're joining us or you just joined us, tonight we have been tackling our virtual vision board before we have our live vision board. Woo! We are going to be in the house the last Monday of January. I want you to come with your, I'm going to have the boards, so you don't need that. We're going to bring our magazines, scissors, glitter. Oh, we're going to have an amazing time. And we're going to do an actual physical vision board together. Listen, tag somebody, ask somebody to join us. We're going to have an amazing time. I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to be talking about education. So many people have, thought about going back to school. Maybe I'm too old. Is it doable? Financial resources. So we will have some guests next week to talk about education. It is still a thing, right? Getting your degree is still reachable. Getting completing a certification course is still doable.
Yes.
So let's talk about education, because that is also something that people put on their vision board. So we're going to have that conversation next week. I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you. I love you. Remember, this is Worship and Wellness, where we believe in biblical principles, but with practical steps. God bless, and see you next week. Good night.